and how.
Okay, Mrs. Bagley, we'll take that up with the town administrator, because the school department is a department in itself, and we do follow, should and supposed to follow motor vehicle regulations for inspecting the school buses. So if you have any more issues, why don't you make an appointment with Mark? You guys can go over it, and then we can present it to the school board. Brenda?
May I be recognized? Thank you, Mr. I appreciate that, Mr. Chairman, but this is the same board that when I raised the question on where the $30,000 was being paid back by an employee who had allegedly stole it, for lack of a better word, that they told us they paid it back in full and put it into a revolving account for the athletic department. I checked with the town accountant. They don't have a revolving account. Revolving accounts are supposed to be voted on annually at the town meeting. I've been a selectman for 5 years, and to my recollection, we have never voted on a revolving account for either the bus transportation or the athletic thing. So while I appreciate, the idea that they are a department, unto themselves or whatever, we pay for these buses. I have children that ride these buses.
So do I.
I mean, this is scary. 190 out of 300 and what? Would you say 300?
328 total inspections.
I mean, almost 60% of the buses are failing. I think that I would like to ask that we have a joint meeting. Let the school committee sit here. This article that you have, I was looking at, we have the former chairman saying that none of them have ever failed an inspection. We have other ones that say, I've never worried about safety. They're school committee, and they've never worried about safety on the buses? I'm 100% certain if the drivers thought they were stepping into an unsafe bus, would hear about it. Well, not if you're slowly union busting there, which I believe they're doing, because I've asked about it. We signed the paychecks. A majority of those bus drivers now are now considered temporary employees. They're not considered employees of the town. We pay them, but they don't pay union dues. They are not afforded union protection. And as Mrs. Begley said, the revolving account, to the best of my knowledge, we do not have a revolving account for this. So I'd like to see some more of those, but I would like to see if we can get a joint meeting with the school committee, Dr. Rabinovich, the head of the director of transportation, the town accountant, this board, and the town administrator. I mean, if you still have records, I mean, I just want...
Excuse me, Brenda. Instead of just prolonging, why don't we go ahead and set up a meeting with Mark, and then we can go on from there.
I appreciate
because
that.
Like she said,
right.
we need to get up with all parties so we can straighten out the problem.
I appreciate that, Mr. Cruz, and I would welcome such a meeting. However, what I would like at this point is, because blanket statements were made without documentation and proof. I mean, had someone mentioned bus safety to any of these people that are responsible for the safety of our children, and they came back and said, oh my goodness, I'm going to look into that and I will get back to you, and came with proof. At this point, I believe that the people that are responsible for the safety of the buses and the condition of the buses need to prove that the buses are safe. And I'd like that done in a very public way.
Well, we're taking your recommendations
exactly
to heart, and what we'll say is get up with Mark. He takes care of day-to-day operations, and then we'll go from there.
Absolutely.
We have a starting point now.
Absolutely.
So if you would get up to Mark, and then we'll go from there.
And I would hope that a meeting of this nature would be open to the public.
Okay. We'll work on that. Thank you very much.
Well, if I may just...
I think in citizens' participation, from now on, we're going to limit it to 2 minutes. Thank you.
Well, I would say, well, if I may then, Mr. Andrews, I'd like to recommend that you have that meeting. I'd like it within 2 weeks, because I wrote these things down. Maintenance schedules, mechanic work orders, and timesheets, and circle checks. Was that the last thing?
They're called circle checks.
Okay. So
They,
if-
they're, it said in the response to the article, it said, each morning before one of our licensed drivers drives his or her vehicle, they must perform a circle check, which looks for potential problems or reasons a vehicle would fail inspection.
All right, so if we could get all of those, and under public records, they should be able to get that within 10 days. So I'd like a meeting within like 2 weeks from Thursday or something, a joint meeting. And I'll tell you right now, Ms. Begley, I would love to see that stuff, because if we can't get a joint meeting, because we had problems with the joint meeting before, I'll ask our chairman, not Chairman Pro Tem, I will ask our chairman to schedule it for that Thursday, and I will personally invite Channel 4, 5, and 7 here if they don't want to come here and sit to answer these questions. This is a disgrace. It's ridiculous. And they voted no confidence in us? Yeah.
Next, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.